Okay, in this question we are asked, what is the maximum concentration of silver ion that can be added to a 0.003 molar solution of sodium carbonate before a precipitate will form? And we're given the Ksp of the precipitate that would form. It would be a silver carbonate, and there's its Ksp, 8.1 times 10 to the minus 12. So really this is a question of where we're going to compare Q versus the Ksp. That's really what we're being asked, and it may not be super obvious from reading it, but that's what's going on here. So in order to do that, what we need is a few things. First of all, it's always good to start with the reaction that would occur if this this silver carbonate does dissolve, since that is the compound in question. That's the precipitate that could potentially form. All right, so if this solid is present in solution and it does dissolve, we get two silver ions, aqueous, and we get a carbonate ion, aqueous. Okay, so that's one important thing to keep in mind. Now the other important thing to keep in mind is that we have a solution that has carbonate already in it. It's 0.003 molar of sodium carbonate. Now sodium carbonate, Na2CO3, okay, when it does dissolve, it is a soluble ionic compound. So when we do put it in water, it breaks apart into two sodium ions and a carbonate ion. So if I have 0.003 molar of that, and this happens 100%, right, because it is a soluble compound, then that means that I have 0.003 molar of that. And that's the most important thing to keep in mind. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write an expression for the Ksp of this reaction. So it's products over reactants where the coefficients become exponents and you leave out solids and pure liquids. So the concentration of this product, silver, needs to be squared because of the 2, times the concentration of the carbonate, right? And I know what that is equal to. That's equal to 8.1 times 10 to the minus 12. And the other thing that I know is I know this carbonate ion concentration. It is 0.003. So the only thing I don't really know is the silver ion concentration, what it could be. If this product exceeds 8.1 times 10 to the minus 12, then I get a precipitate. So I can just rearrange and solve for the maximum amount of silver ion. So the silver ion concentration squared times 0.003 equals 8.1 times 10 to the minus 12. Okay, so then you could just rearrange and isolate the concentration of silver ions. It would be 8.1 times 10 to the minus 12. Divide both sides by 0.003, and then take the square root of that, because you got to, take the square root of each side. And so if you get that, you plug that into your calculator, you would find that it's equal to 5.2 times 10 to the minus 5 molar. Okay. So the idea here is that if that number is any bigger, then this, which is a value of Q, will be larger than my Ksp. And so therefore we would get a precipitate. And the question is, what's the maximum concentration of silver ion I can reach without forming a precipitate? So we just calculated that right there.